Tonight, stimulus checks for millions of Americans.
An incredible relief. It will mean that I will only be dipping into a little bit of my savings.
The House has settled on $2,000 checks. What will the Senate say? Plus,
we've had many caregivers who were not in caregiving situations before.
The new pressures placed on millennials because of the pandemic, and volunteering made easy.
And what it does is it instantly connects volunteers with organizations that are in dire need right now.
How a new app is helping people give back. All this and more tonight on Faith Nation. One week until the fate of the Senate is decided. Good evening and welcome to Faith Nation. I'm Eric Phillips. This is the week for the people of Georgia to decide the election in person, the last chance for them to vote early in person. So far, more than 2 million people have already cast their ballots. Senior Washington correspondent Tara Merger is here with the latest on the race and what's at stake. Tara, good evening.
Eric, on January 5th, Georgia will vote again on who to send to the Senate. Two runoffs here will decide whether Republicans continue to control the chamber. If Democrats win both seats, they will take control. The stakes couldn't be higher as millions of dollars and thousands of campaigners pour into the Peach State.
The fifth can't come soon enough.
Officials say interest is even higher than expected.
It's a fact that the eyes and ears of the world are on the state of Georgia.
The largest polling site in the state seeing a steady stream of early voters.
It didn't take 5 minutes.
It's time to vote.
Georgia state law requires runoffs in both elections because no candidate in either seat reached 50% of the vote in the November election. Facing off for a second time, Republican incumbent David Perdue.
We won in November by 2 points. The Libertarian got 2 points. So 52.5% of Georgians rejected this liberal Democratic offering that has so many socialistic pieces to it.
And John Ossoff, a former journalist.
Georgia has the power to decide where we go from here. We have the power to write the next chapter in American history.
Also on the ballot, Republican Kelly Loeffler, who was appointed interim senator last January.
We're going to keep fighting for our president, and we're going to show America that Georgia's a red state.
And Democrat Raphael Warnock, who would become the state's first black senator.
This is serious business, and she's busy calling me names.
Democrats have a majority in the House, so a Democratic Senate majority would make it easier for Biden to advance his agenda, including legislative changes, cabinet appointments, and nominations. A Republican-controlled Senate under Majority Leader Mitch McConnell would be able to block much of Biden's agenda. Republicans have controlled the chamber since 2014, and next week, Eric, will see if that will continue to be the case.
All right, Tara, thanks. And as you just said, volunteers are streaming to Georgia by the thousands. Some of them are with the Concerned Women for America. Penny Nance, the president of that group, joins us now. Penny, we're so glad to have you. So what have you all been doing in Georgia ahead of the runoff?
Well, it's been a really key election in Georgia. I mean, really, I think for the first time in many, many years, Georgia is at the front and center of American politics because it's the hedge against a liberal left taking over the Senate. So right now you have a race of distinction. You have two very liberal Senate candidates running for the Democrats, and you have two conservative, pro-life, pro-Israel candidates running for the Republicans. And it's just a very important and tight race. So Concerned Women for America has simply been on the ground. We've had volunteers from around the country, door knocking, phone calling. I was down there last week on a big pink She Prays, She Votes bus. And we're just reminding Christian women, that pro-life women, that there is so much at stake if we want to guard the president's legacy on life, on Israel, on all these other really key issues on the courts, then pro-life conservative women have to go to the polls and vote. So it's simply a get out the vote record or a get out the vote effort as we go around the state. And it's been just really a sweet time to be in Georgia, but very important.
Well, Penny, do you think your message has been resonating?
I saw saw women from around the state coming out, and it really just very energized, because again, we have a candidate. You interviewed Warnock earlier. This is a candidate that called the police names. He was talking about being called names, calling the police names, calling them thugs. A guy who calls himself a pro-choice pastor, which pro-life women find really perplexing. And so they're very energized, I think, in this election. And we just had to remind them that, this isn't over. You've got to make sure you go vote. You've got January 5th coming up. And I believe they will, because I think people see very clearly that the direction of the country is at stake.
Now, it's been a busy year for your organization. You just wrapped up a bus tour promoting the confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Now you're on the trail in Georgia. Is this collective moment in American history really a pivotal one?
I am calling this an Esther moment. This is a moment where conservative women, whether you're Republican, Independent, or Democrat, you've got to make sure you vote your values. And so this is a key moment, and I think certainly a key moment for Christian women as we step forward and lead.
Reverend Raphael Warnock says his views on reproductive justice square with his beliefs as a minister. How does that work?
It doesn't work. Anyone who's actually read the Bible, read, Psalm 139, recognizes that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, that God knit us together in our mother's womb. And so the idea that you can be pro-abortion and in line with Scripture is absolutely false and incorrect. And so it doesn't work. You can frame it any way you want. You can call it justice, but it's actually the most unjust thing that you can possibly do, is to take the life of the most innocent in our womb. And Concerned Women for America, we're always going to stand up for life from conception to natural death, whether it's our elderly, whether it's people with disabilities, whether it's the unborn. We believe that God created us and he sees us and he knows who we are. And you're right, it's an important issue, and it's something that we need to draw attention to.
Penny, we appreciate your time. All eyes will be on Georgia a week from today. Thanks so much. Now to coronavirus relief on Capitol Hill. The debate over $2,000 stimulus checks is before the Senate. This after the House voted last night to up the amount of the stimulus, while at the same time overriding a presidential veto on a defense spending bill. Today, the stimulus check amount took center stage on the Senate floor, with many Democrats calling on their Republican colleagues to quickly follow the lead of the House and issue that $2,000 stimulus, an amount backed by President Trump, but unsupported by many Senate Republicans.
They did in the House of Representatives. The Senate should have a vote, up or down, yes or no, on providing these increased cash payments to desperate Americans. We can get this done quickly and before the holiday if Leader McConnell will simply agree to do it.
The leaders of our country, President Trump, President-elect Biden, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, are all in agreement. We have got to raise that direct payment.
Today, more Republican senators signaling support for the $2,000 checks, including Georgia runoff candidates David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler and Florida Senator Marco Rubio. To the vaccine rollout in America, the country is falling far behind the goals set by Operation Warp Speed. The White House team wanted 20 million people inoculated by the end of 2020. So far, only about 2.1 million Americans have received the first dose of either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccinations. The CDC says nearly 11.5 million doses have been distributed. This morning, Dr. Anthony Fauci told CNN he thinks momentum will pick up come January. Meanwhile, today, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris received her first dose of the vaccine.
It is relatively painless. It happens really quickly. It is safe. The Moderna, the Pfizer, today I had the Moderna vaccine. I look forward to getting the second vaccine. Literally, this is about saving lives. It's literally about saving lives. I trust the scientists And it is the scientists who created and approved this vaccine.
Harris says she encourages everyone to get the vaccine. Working from home, teaching children at home, and caring for vulnerable parents, the COVID pandemic has upended the lives of millions of millennials. Now, 40% of them are part of what's being called the new sandwich generation. So what's likely to be the long-term toll on these families? Caitlin Burke with that story.
When COVID-19 first took hold in the U.S., Carla Pratico's priority immediately shifted to her parents.
Both of my parents are older. They're baby boomers. You know, my dad is wheelchair bound and my mom is his full-time caregiver. So it also was like, you know what, if something happens, like let's say, God forbid, something happens to my dad, well, I wouldn't be able to see him or go visit. That was part of it, was just being available and being down to help my mom.
The 60-plus group is considered high risk in a COVID-19 world, even if they're otherwise completely healthy. According to a New York Life study, that's thrusting millennials into the role of caretaker at an accelerated rate.
The study finds 40% of millennials are now likely to be caring for an elderly parent, compared with 34% of Gen Xers and 13% of boomers.
The interesting thing with the pandemic is that we've had many caregivers who were not in caregiving situations before, but now their loved ones are, being very, very careful.
Caregiving expert Amy Goyer says young caregivers face unique challenges.
The majority of them are working, so they're juggling the caregiving with their work roles. And now with the pandemic, many are working at home. They may be raising a young family, and so they are also dealing with that.
Pratico would help act as full-time caretaker for her dad to give her mom a break. She found it nearly impossible to juggle work with his care. After 6 months, other family members stepped in to help, and the Praticos decided to go back home to New York City. Still, research shows a majority of millennials predict they will continue providing financial, housing, or caregiving support even after the pandemic ends, a factor that could take a long-term toll. 28-year-old Theron Robinson has been a caregiver for more than 20 years. Doctors diagnosed his mother with a terminal autoimmune disease when he was just in middle school. Incredibly driven, Robinson worked to juggle a career with his caregiving responsibilities. Then, the pandemic changed the game. Suddenly, keeping his mom safe meant staying home. Going online is a blessing for Robinson and many other millennials.
Technology is just amazing. For example, on Facebook, I follow 3 different groups for caregivers, and I follow 3 different groups for her autoimmune diseases. So those people are a huge support because I get so much advice from those people who've been caregivers 30, 20, 15, 5 years.
The trend of millennials stepping in to help aging family members is only expected to grow. Experts say it's imperative for this generation to begin factoring that into their financial plans, as this pandemic has already highlighted how important it is to prepare for the unexpected. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
It's a special ministry all its own. Thanks, Caitlin. Giving back to those in need. There's an app for that. We'll explain when we come back. You're watching Faith Nation.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
I think as a father, it's my job, to lead, just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Or
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Welcome back. This is supposed to be the season of everything being merry and bright, but this year, for millions of Americans, it's far from that. Some people waiting in long lines just to get something to eat. So in this season of giving, what are volunteers doing to help? Here's Faith Nation anchor Jenna Browder with one idea that's being supported by big-name celebrities.
Giving back has never been easier, thanks to a new app that connects volunteers with nonprofit organizations. What's more, there's a whole list of A-listers behind it. Joe Theismann, Evander Holyfield, Dionne Warwick, and Buzz Aldrin. Just a few names leading the charge for the Global Service Institute and its Global Service app.
The timing could not be more important right now, given what's happening in the world because of the pandemic. There are so many charities, there are so many nonprofits that are in absolute dire need, that are in economic devastation, and really need volunteers, need people to serve more than ever.
At the helm, broadcaster Rita Cosby of Inside Edition and formerly Fox News and MSNBC.
It is a free app, and we wanted it to be a free service to all. And what it does is it instantly connects volunteers with organizations that are in dire need right now.
In the app, you can search by organization or just see what's needed in your community. Each event will describe the work you'll be doing, along with a direct link for you to sign up and get involved. And that's just one piece of the pie. Cosby says they formed the Global Service Institute at Long Island University to teach this and future generations the value of service. And it's something close to her heart.
My father was a prisoner of war in World War II, was a Polish resistance fighter. He was part of the Warsaw Uprising. And my father escaped from a Nazi POW camp and was 90 pounds and 6 feet tall and came to a riverbed and was rescued by American troops. And that's why he came to this great country. So my whole life, from when I was born, I was always taught these incredible values of giving back and appreciating those of service.
As a Christian, Cosby points to Deuteronomy 26:11.
Be thankful for what you have. God wants us to be thankful for what we have and to give back to others. And this is such an important time, especially this holiday season, where we have to be so thankful for what we have in our lives, our family, our friends, the great values that we have. And if we can pass that on and also tangibly also pass on not just the values, but also a little bit of our time, what a wonderful way to be able to give back this holiday season.
The app is very easy to use, and if you want to volunteer this year but not go in person because of COVID-19, the app includes opportunities to help out virtually. Jenna Browder, CBN News.
What a great idea, Jenna. Thanks. Is the idea of righteous anger a myth? A new book breaks it down. We speak to the author on the other side of the break.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy.
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain. Get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Think about it. On social media, in store aisles, political debates, and even at the dinner table. Everywhere you turn today, it seems more people than ever are angry. Faith Nation anchor John Jessup recently spoke to a popular radio host about the danger of living with anger, a topic he wrote about in a book called Unoffendable.
Brent, why'd you write the book?
I couldn't figure out how long I was supposed to be angry about stuff. I mean, I know that sounds like a strange way to put it, but I'm on Christian radio, and I was talking about this on the air. Like, how long am I supposed to, I know I'm supposed to be angry, like righteously angry about this and that and the other thing, but which issues am I supposed to stay angry about and how long, and before I put it, and nobody can answer the question. And I thought it was really interesting. So I was just kind of reading in the Bible and trying to find how long we're supposed to stay angry. And the answer keeps coming back. We're not supposed to stay angry at all. We're supposed to let it go. We're supposed to forgive people. And I was shocked by that. So when I started writing this book, I was definitely trying to explain what I found in the Bible about righteous anger, and that's that it's something that belongs to God alone. Actually, we're supposed to think things might anger us. That's a human reaction. It's a natural reaction. It's based on fight or flight. Like, that's all quite understandable, but we're supposed to get rid of it actually before the sun goes down. So I just hadn't heard that much before. And it turns out that this is, I think, a lot better way for us to live, and it makes us different people.
Everywhere you turn, it seems like people are angry on the right and on the left, and just about any and every topic. You point out being offended is a choice. I'm sure that's not something most people want to hear.
No, that alone is offensive to people. I totally understand that. It's ironic. The problem is, for somebody, if you're a believer, the problem is, again, encountering the fact that I myself am a sinner. I am someone who needs forgiveness from God myself. So when I say I have to get rid of anger against other people, it doesn't mean I abandon an issue. It doesn't mean I don't act. It just means I'm letting go of my right to anger because of God's willingness to forgive me. I'm just as bad. And that's something that's very difficult for people to hear too, because we all want to think we're good people. Like, it's difficult what Jesus is saying, that we have to forgive or we won't be forgiven. Like, that's not a matter of whether somebody apologizes to us. It's not a matter of whether somebody deserves forgiveness, because they don't. I don't.
We just had a contentious election. You have some people who are pretty passionate, and they supported candidate A over candidate B, and their guy or gal didn't win. And the person who did has views and agenda that goes completely against theirs. So how do we choose not to be angry or offended in that arena?
Because an issue matters. People will say, are you telling me I'm supposed to not be angry about this issue or that? I'm not telling you that. Jesus is telling us we have to forgive people. Paul's the one who said, let go of your anger before the sun goes down. Get rid of all anger. James is the one that writes, there's nothing righteous about human anger. You can find that in James 1. I'm not the one saying that. The point is, you can still act. You can still defend the vulnerable. You can still be somebody, if you have pro-life convictions, for instance, you can still advocate, give, donate, act, be an activist on whatever your issue is. But if you do it out of anger, that's not the right motivation. It actually clouds your judgment. It actually doesn't help you get things done. ultimately will hurt you and take a toll on you.
What is the benefit of living the way that you're saying, and how has it changed your life and the life of some of the people who've read Unoffendable?
If we take this on as a daily thing, and we don't have to, but if we actually follow this scripture and we realize that only God has righteous anger, Jesus' anger is righteous, God's anger is righteous because he's sinless, but me, I have to let it go. It makes us more fun people to be around. It makes us more attractive to people who are non-believers because we're not constantly going, I can't believe this. Like, no, we can. We know the world's broken, and I'm going to go out and love people. I don't have to be fearful of them. So the weird thing is, it actually makes life a lot better, and I think it helps us to see things more clearly too. And the last thing is, it makes us very different from the rest of the world. You've probably noticed everybody's offended right now by everything. So here's a chance for us to be distinct, because we're the ones you can't offend. We know what human nature is like.
More of us could stand to be unoffendable. And speaking of books, The Good Book has had a great year. Details when Faith Nation returns.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm Ephraim Graham. Welcome to Studio 5.
Get on it.
All that's new and now in the world of uplifting entertainment with celebrity interviews.
There's a higher contribution I will make.
Musical performances.
I'll give you my best praise.
Plus movie and TV news.
See it and be uplifted.
On Studio 5. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern at cbn.com/Studio 5.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to cbn.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
And finally tonight, Bible sales are up worldwide this year. Lifeway Christian Resources says Bible sales have been strong since the outbreak of the coronavirus came to the U.S., but there was a significant increase from April through June. The Bible distributor says this is no accident, as people often go to the Word as a source of hope in times of crisis and uncertainty. The Lord tells us that He will never leave us nor forsake us. Unfortunately, we have to leave you, but we will see you back here tomorrow night. Have a great evening.